Are we living inside the software Zoom for the unforeseeable future? Will scooters in urban areas go away now that everyone is inside? Is content actually on overdrive as a result of our new normal? We'll dive into these topics and more on the Business Management Podcast at the intersection of marketing, media, technology, and popular culture. It's called Disruptive FM. Roll the title.
It's Disruptive FM. Disruptive FM. Disruptive FM. Welcome to Disruptive FM, where business and culture collide. Sponsored by Microsoft and Branding Strategy Insider. With your host, Jeffrey Colon.
Okay, here we go.
What's up, everybody? Broadcasting from our quarantine studios in Seattle as we have fully entered a new realm of normal. Hope you're all safe and sound and enjoying my human voice. Thanks for joining us here for another episode of Disruptive FM. This is number 64 if you're keeping tally. I'm Jeffrey Colon, head of brand studio for Microsoft Advertising. Just ahead, 3 trending topics. Gee, I wonder what they're all about. And we'll also hear from Melanie Diesel, founder of StoryFuel and author of the Content Fuel framework. Melanie brings us her wisdom on content overload in the COVID-19 era. It's a wild world, but we're going to grab it by the horns. So let's get to it.
Here are this week's trending topics. Who's Zoomin' Who?
There was a hip-hop tune from the 1990s that went like this.
All I wanna do is zoom, 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 and a boom, boom.
Which was about, well, I'd tell you what it was about, but my kids are in the next room. But that same phrase has a new context now. It's how many of us are staying connected and working during this pandemic. I feel like we're all fish in a fishbowl and we peer in periodically to see how everyone else is doing. Zoom is now so popular as a video engagement platform that there are jokes for it. Like this one. Hey, where do you go to school? Answer, Zoom University. Or this one. Where's your office located? Answer, inside Zoom. In a matter of days, we have invaded video chat rooms faster than you can say, this is my other residence. In fact, if things keep up at the pace they are, we may have people who spend more time in Zoom than in Airbnb. This will be a unique situation for us to watch. As video takes over all aspects of our lives, we are invading the Zooms, the Blue Jeans, the Microsoft Teams, and the Cisco WebExes of the world for business. And spending more time than ever on FaceTime, Google Hangouts, House Party, Facebook Live, and Instagram Live for pleasure. It only takes 66 days to form a new habit. Before you realize it, there's going to be a lot of commercial real estate that is going to be worthless, while video software becomes the prime real estate of our time. Maybe we can rewrite the popular kids song, Zoom, 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 We're Going to the Moon, into an adult version. Zoom, 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 I'm going on vacation to the laundry room for the weekend.
Trending topics on DFM. Scooter crash.
Remember scooters? They were everything and everywhere way back in 2019. Now they face an existential challenge. A recent report from Bloomberg confirms what we've been thinking about ever since the word coronavirus came on our radar. The appeal of sharing a high-touch vehicle with an unknown number of strangers has succumbed to the fear of viral transmission. Think about it. Those things are disgusting. Germ magnets. Scooters have crashed and they may never rebound. As urbanites flee for rural areas and commercial real estate crumbles, we may never want to ride scooters, ride share, or ride anything for some time. The sudden disappearance of scooters and e-bikes comes after months of industry turbulence. Lime and Bird have struggled to raise money from investors and both cut staff starting late last year. The companies, once singularly focused on growth, have realized their problematic business plans need rethinking. But this pause might strictly be that. Every new transportation method takes off when private enterprise works with local government to create new transit systems. That wasn't the case with many of these companies But in a post-vaccine world, cities that have come to value shared micromobility services as a sustainable transportation option, subsidizing them may be the only way to secure their existence long term. Some traditional docked bike share systems, including those in Boston, Chicago, and Washington, D.C., are owned by local governments but operated by Lyft. In that model, the city has more ability to ensure continuity of operations and ensure that service will be provided to the public because they've extended their own resources, even if the bottom falls out of the economy. The learning here: go alone and crash, or go together and ride on.
Trending topics on DFM. Content overload.
Show of hands. Who has been overwhelmed by digital content the past few weeks? There's nothing wrong with content, but ultimately people are looking for interesting and valuable content. Research from Microsoft Advertising has shown searches for do-it-yourself or DIY content is up 600% year over year in searches. And that brings us to our next guest, Melanie Diesel, CEO of StoryFuel, and author of the new book, The Content Fuel Framework, is a content guru to say the least. She's created some of the best content hubs for big brands like Time Magazine, the New York Times, and the Huffington Post in the past several years before going solo. We're interested in what role content will play in this new normal. Melanie was kind enough to join us on Microsoft Teams last week to talk about this hot topic. Let's take a listen.
One of the things we're all trying to figure out now is where the line is, right? Because we need to create content for our audience. We need to maintain that relationship with our audience. And yet we need to be cognizant of the fact that our audience's world has been turned upside down. And so I think we're all experimenting, trying to figure out where that line is. I think we're going to see people make mistakes. We're going to see people create content that ignores the reality that their audience is facing and is poorly received as a result. And we're going to see people who hit a home run, who figure out the perfect way to deliver value to the audience through a venue that is available to the audience and provides a ton of value for them. So just a couple best practices to keep in mind to try to keep yourself somewhere in the middle of those two extremes and keep yourself from creating the kind of content that's not going to land right. You want to have empathy for your audience's situation, acknowledging that many of them are facing either illness or isolation. They may have family or friends who are in a tough situation or are facing illness. And many of them are financially very concerned at this particular time. You know, they may be working from home or have been laid off or have unstable employment at this particular time due to all of this. So acknowledging that asking your audience for money in an aggressive way repeatedly is probably not the right way to go right now. You want to be value first and be really empathetic to the realities that they're facing. The other thing you want to do is make sure that any existing or scheduled content or social posts that you have scheduled to go out are being reevaluated and audited for the new reality in which they're going to be sent out. Anything from major situations where, you know, you're seeing travel marketers, tourism marketers, airlines promoting destinations right now at a time when travel is not only not smart and not healthy, but in many cases banned. So not only is that a bad use of your money, but it's a bad look in the eyes of your consumers who are wondering why you're still trying to get them to do something unsafe. Take a look at those scheduled posts, any content you're planning to put out, and make sure that it's now being reevaluated through the new reality. And look for small ways that you may be unaware of that situation as well. Just a little example, I've seen a lot of ads that are going out that are not for travel, not for something that's inappropriate at this time, but they're including imagery of people shaking hands or hugging, right? When we're being told to distance ourselves from others. So in many ways, your imagery or your headlines or some other smaller elements may need to be adjusted so that they are contextually aware as well. So empathy and being aware of the context in which your content is going out is going to be absolutely key for the foreseeable future.
Content still requires an audience. How will you find yours? That was Melanie Diesel, CEO of StoryFuel and author of the new book, The Content Fuel Framework. Out now, where all good books are sold.
You're listening to Disruptive FM with Jeffrey Colon.
Now, here comes the music. Here comes the music. Here comes the music.
Hey, it's Disruptive FM, the culture of business. I'm Jeffrey Colon. Thanks for tuning in. We're happy to be with you. We We hope that, wherever you are, you and yours are safe, healthy, and relatively sane in these insane times. Please reach out on social media. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Disruptive FM. And connect with me personally on Twitter and Instagram at DJGEOFFE. We are very grateful to our sponsor partners for their support. Microsoft Advertising, Intelligent Connections. When you broaden your view on trust, you build loyalty and create business value. Especially in these challenging times, a trusted relationship for the long term is paved with empathy, genuine service, knowing your brand's purpose in the interconnected world. That's marketing with purpose. Learn more at aka.ms/marketingwithpurpose. And Branding Strategy Insider, which serves 50,000 plus senior level marketers, CMOs, and business decision makers every day. It is distributed by partners such as the Washington Post, Wall Street Journal, Google News, and Forbes. Branding Strategy Insider, the leading resource for thought leadership in brand strategy and brand management. If you don't know them already, please give them a look at brandingstrategyinsider.com. And thanks to iOgrapher. iOgrapher makes accessories that turn your smartphones into storytelling machines. Cases, stabilizers, tripods, microphones. Everything you need to make your mobile videos look like the pros. All their products are easy to assemble and budget friendly. Whether you're a large agency or just a lone operator trying to up your storytelling game, you need to check them out. iOgrapher.com. In the background, music from Quart. It's a track called Life is Beautiful, the Some Such remix. It's out now on the Quart Remixed EP on BBE Records.
Disruptive FM presents...
Stop! It's the motherfucking remix!
Everything is a remix.
Every DJ is going on Instagram to play tunes. Some are doing it right. Shout out to D Nice and Homeschooled. And some don't understand it's not just about the tunes, but the personalities. A long time ago, all of us here at DFM used to quarantine ourselves in our bedrooms and tune into late night AM/FM radio. You know, the type that the name of this podcast pays tribute to. We tuned in not to just hear the music, but the personalities behind that music. And there were so many. In New York City, it was Freddie Crocker. In DC, it was Melvin Lindsay, who infamously created the Quiet Storm format. Our point here is we didn't just want to hear the tunes. We wanted to hear the personalities of these DJs shine through the microphone. And so this past week, as every night the live buttons pop up to showcase whoever the latest basement or bedroom DJ is, they're all missing what we want. We want not to just see their talent, but hear what they have to say. Give us context to tunes. Give us their personality. If I want tunes mixed back to back while just watching you look at your laptop, well, I can do that by programming my own mix using Spotify. We are at a point where the next personalities are not going to rise on the AM/FM dials of the world. I mean, who is driving anymore? But by entertaining us in the live stream, just like live radio, because everything is a remix. All right, here are some stories that are bubbling under. You might want to pay closer attention to them. It's a segment we call On the Radar.
Here's what's on our radar. Number 1.
Social distancing may help us slow the spread of COVID-19, but isolation can exact a hefty toll on our emotional and physical health. Loneliness can be just as taxing on our health as smoking, and it's a stronger predictor of mortality than obesity. Thankfully, even during these challenging times, there are plenty of things we can do to keep such feelings at bay. A good recipe. Get exercise if you can. Pick up the phone and call a friend or family member. Give meditation a try. And do what you can to help others.
Number 2.
The coronavirus pandemic is causing many Americans to escape to the country. Dubbed an impromptu Great American Migration, as cities become hotspots for COVID-19, urban dwellers are seeking refuge in small towns and rural areas. The exodus is also fueled by the lure of remote work, though internet connectivity and access to healthcare can be a challenge in rural areas. Some experts believe that the pandemic will only accelerate the ongoing shift to middle ground areas, towns that have urban amenities but are less densely populated.
Number 3.
With scores of major cities entering or under lockdown due to the coronavirus pandemic, work and social habits are shifting. Podcast consumption, which has surged in recent years, has now plunged, a side effect of commute-free remote work. Meanwhile, the extra free time has led to a sales surge of jigsaw puzzles and a worldwide shortage among retailers. Jigsaw puzzle sales from the leading maker Ravensburger climbed by 370% year over year. Okay, that's going to wrap up another episode 64. Shout out to Melanie Diesel of StoryFuel for joining us with some interesting and timely insights. Next week, David Sachs joins us with tips on working from home and to talk about his latest book, Soul of an Entrepreneur. As always, thank you for your time and attention. We would love for you to rate, review, and especially subscribe to the show. We're everywhere. Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and Pandora. Once again, the socials, Twitter and Instagram at Disruptive FM. And check out cool content from our sponsors at aka.ms/marketingwithpurpose, brandingstrategyinsider.com, and iographer.com. Until next time, from everyone here at DFM, I'm Jeffrey Colon. And don't forget, protect the herd by staying home. We'll catch you next week. Stay safe.
You've been listening to Disruptive FM with Microsoft Communications designer Jeffrey Colon. All thoughts are his own. Disruptive FM is produced in Los Angeles by Feeler Media.